I think what people felt, you remember that early 70s was the first time in many years, because of the increase in the oil price, we had liquidity. We had a little bit more confidence that we could begin to define our own destiny. And Muslims felt that finance is one of the places where we should begin to influence our own way. I remember that Kuwait Finance House invited submissions from scholars how to do this job within the parameters of the jurisprudence of the Sharia. And several scholars submitted, and one of the key submissions was from the Iraqi scholar Sayyid Bakr Sadr. Apart from his book on Islamic economics, Iqtisaduna, the main submission was Al-Bank La Rabawiyya, how to run a bank without riba. That was his. So this double mudaraba of the bank, one way for the investor and one way for the borrower, was designed by him in principle, as shown that this can be done. We didn't have at that time any idea of the suffocating grip of banking regulation on this structure. We thought we can give money and we can share risk and we can do mudaraba and musharaka and whatever, and it will be fine. Until we get into banking regulation, our own regulators, not here, are saying, no, you can't do that. This is retail banking. You need to guarantee this, you need to do this, you need to do this. So it took quite a long time to understand that constraint.
Do you feel the industry has met your and that early pioneers' ethical aspirations?
To be honest, we should remember that the whole discussion on ethics in banking is recent. 40 years ago, there was no discussion. There was two compartments. You make the best return. When you have the return in your hands, you do what you want to do with it. You can do it better. You can spend it better. Don't talk about how the return is made. This was the way it was bifurcated. When ethical finance started to come, like Friends Providence Stewardship Fund, a lot of the people said, what is this about? You take the return and spend it where you want to do. Why you are talking about how to make the return? So that discussion is progressing now. It wasn't there then. And we didn't feel the need to address it. We said, if we do this, let's get the parameters right and then hopefully address the other challenges. So what we have done through direct product development, reverse engineering, all kinds of things, we have replicated each and every product in the market in a Sharia-compliant way. The question is whether this is right or not. That's step 2. Unfortunately, because of my age, most of them come and say, Uncle, what is the difference between this and this? Why you are bothering us? So I had to really go to great lengths to tell them, and I owe this to our scholars, some of them very, very eloquent. So what is the difference between slaughtering an animal, not saying anything, and slaughtering an animal after saying Bismillah? One is halal, one is haram. It's exactly the same. Oh, yeah, okay. So, but that is minimum. We are not talking about a maximum strategy. The minimum compliance in every product we have achieved.
So for the UK market, then are you seeing similar to the earlier panels? Do we need to go down a Tabung Haji or a non-banking model as a precursor to really
before the
building
financial crisis, I was thinking we may have to go to a non-banking model. But after the financial crisis, I think banking itself is going to change. If not now, then in the next crisis, which is not far off, in my view. In which case, the payment system will be separated from investments. So I'd ask my students, I said, have you asked your bank how safe is your money? They said, no. I said, why not? They said, it never occurred to us. I said, if your bank goes bust, what happens to your money? I said, we have no clue. How can you put your money in a place so confidently that you're not even asking what you're doing with the money? After the crisis, people are beginning to worry, so what's happening to that, right? And now it's going to change. So we would have the possibility of having ethical stroke Islamic banking within the banking system without having to go outside the banking paradigm. And that is something we need to work with the FCA now to see how to encourage them to slowly go there. At Footsie, we did a number of back testing on, for example, the performance of the Footsie World Index, the general Footsie Index, the Footsie for Good Index, which is the index of SRI stocks, and the Footsie Sharia Index. So 3 separately. And then I told him, let us take the best, let us take the common, not the best, the common components between Footsie Sharia and Footsie for Good. So we took the common ones. It showed 2 things. First of all, the common core was much smaller than I expected, which means we have a lot of differences between the ethical and Islamic. And so we need to study what are the basis of these differences. But secondly, when we mapped the performance of that common core, it beat all the other 3 together. I tell the responsible finance people, look, this is a win-win situation.